Welcome to Corporate Competitor, presented by Forbes Books, the podcast where the world's greatest executives share how the lessons they learned playing sports shaped their leadership. After more than 200 episodes with CEOs and senior leaders like Chick-fil-A Chairman Dan Cathy, Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian, Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan, and former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, one thing is clear. Whether they were inducted into their Sports Hall of Fame or hung up their cleats after high school, sports has been a powerful, shared foundation for success. I'm your host, Don Yeager, and each week, in partnership with Chief Executive Magazine, we bring you genuine, authentic, fireside chat-like conversations with influential leaders so you can apply their insights to elevate your leadership. With me for today's episode is Zack, president of Red Roof Inn. With 2 decades of experience in the lodging industry, Zack manages 700 properties and 60,000 rooms in the United States and Japan. He was born and raised in a small town in Lebanon, and his journey has been influenced by his love for basketball, a sport he played at the collegiate level. I'm excited to learn how the principles of teamwork, discipline, and perseverance he honed on the court now guide his leadership at Red Roof. Make sure to check out corporatecompetitorpodcast.com/notes for my favorite quotes and reflection questions to help you apply today's insights.
We take calculated risk and we make mistakes and own it. There's something that happened and I took responsibility for it and I apologized to the guys and I said that was actually something that I missed. That moment was really important because every you start seeing that, hey, if I made a mistake, I can really share it comfortably without feeling like, oh my God, it's going to be an embarrassing moment. Accountability is real. You want to be responsible for your performance, your actions. But guess what? We all make mistakes. Nobody should ever be afraid of saying, I made a mistake.
Zack, thanks for joining us.
Don, it's a pleasure. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm really excited for this.
You know, you grew up in a small town in Lebanon, raised in what you refer to as a humble household. But at 11 years old, you fell in love with basketball. And then you went on to play in college at Lebanese American University. How did being a part of a team like that shape you?
Well, I love the game of basketball. Growing up in a small town in Lebanon, the country, by the way, it's not Lebanon, Indiana, or Pennsylvania. We did not even have a basketball in my town. I grew up playing soccer and volleyball when I was 8, 9, and 10. You know, you're competitive. And then we moved to the city and I went to middle school. We had a basketball court. And that's when I really picked it up. Mm-hmm. Back in the 80s and 90s, everybody on this planet was in love with Michael Jordan.
Yep.
I was in awe of his game, of his aura. So when games are here at 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., 9 p.m., it's 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in Lebanon.
Wow.
I would get up in the middle of the night, even with school the next day. And my parents look at me like, crazy? I didn't want to miss any games. I just loved the game so much, loved watching him. The Michael Jordan days, pivotal moment, I just fell in love with it. I could not wait for the bell to ring so we can go out there and play in a bunch of kids. Everybody is trying to stick their tongue out. I started really practicing more and playing more. And magically, I got on the team. I don't know how. I was not that good at the time, but I guess I was better than others. So I appreciate the opportunity. Really, basketball became part of my life. When I was 16, 17, and my buddies were going out on dates and doing all kinds of fun stuff, I had no money and I did not have a car. Only thing I did is got home, I finished my homework early, and I said to my parents, okay, I'll be back in a few hours. And I went to the basketball court all afternoon into the evenings, came back home, had dinner, and I was beat and went to bed. When I went to college, I had the honor to be on the team. And we had a tournament, Greece, Athens, different teams from Lebanon, Turkey, Greece, so different colleges. It was my first time ever traveling on a plane and staying in a hotel.
Oh, wow.
I was like 17 or 18 at the time. I walked in, I fell in love with the hotel. Like, wow, the setting is beautiful. I mean, you can see the water, the white building. And then as the trip went on and on, We were going to the games, we were coming back. We had conversations as a staff, and the general manager started spending more time with us on a daily basis, especially when we came back to the game. We were celebrating if we won. Got to know him very well and listened to his journey. And honestly, I'm like, I can see myself doing this. This is great. Travel, staying in these settings. That trip changed my entire life.
Isn't that amazing?
Basketball led me to this moment. I ended up coming to the US on January 1998. Greatest country on earth. It had a great hospitality program. And trust me, there's been ups, there's been downs, but it's been a rewarding career.
Did you ever get a chance when you came to the States to go to a Chicago Bulls game?
I went to a Chicago Bulls game, but years after Michael Jordan retired. At the time, did not have the money to go to the games, but Michael Jordan made me fall in love with the game even more. Everything you go through playing basketball and watching people like Coach K teaches you teamwork and resilience, becoming mentally tough. And you learn that winning is a lot better than losing.
Isn't it?
Well, I've had a lot of losses in my life. God knows how many losses I've had, but it makes the victories even sweeter and more rewarding.
Wow. And so you stay in this hotel, you start thinking about hoteling as a profession, not just as a place to stay. And one of the things that stood out to me as I was studying you is one of your first roles when you were working in a hotel was housekeeping manager.
Yes.
I read that in that window, you had an unexpected encounter with the legendary Bill Marriott. It's not every day that the CEO walks in and you were caught off guard.
Yeah, that was a very interesting time. I actually joined White Lodging Services out of college and joined this great company in Austin for a while. And they moved me to Indianapolis downtown. They were building a brand new full service Marriott. Those 3 months, I worked 16 hours days, 7 days a week to get the hotel open because we had a deadline.
Yeah.
But it was also very rewarding in a lot of sense. It was a lot of teamwork. We had a vision, we had a goal. So we opened the hotel on time. We were very proud of it. And we got the memo one time in one of the meetings that our owner, our chairman is coming to visit. Mind you, I'm a young manager, 21, 22. Mr. Marriott comes, this iconic figure in our industry, just built an amazing empire. He's walking around saying hello to everybody. He got to us and he shook my hand. He shook every housekeeper's hand. Thank you and congratulations. The hotel looks great. I mean, he was very complimentary and really just a very class act. And a profounding moment was he looked at me, he was like, young man, you have one critical mission for you being the manager of this team. I said, what is it, Mr. Marriott? Always take care of your team first.
Wow.
They will take care of everything else. First and only time I've met Mr. Marriott.
No kidding.
That stuck with me my entire life. Nobody will ever change my mind on this. I always want to make sure that my team is taken care of. It has served me well, and I will continue to do it in the future because it's just such a great mantra.
I love that. You're 22, 21, shaking the hand of a legend, and he's offering you a piece of advice that would serve you well. So often we hear as leaders, take care of your customers first. No, take care of your team, and they'll take care of the customers. It feels like that idea is becoming more and more mainstream today. This was happening 30 plus years ago.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Marriott today.
Right.
He really shaped that mantra. I'm confident that so many managers and leaders and employees in the Marriott and the hospitality world have learned that and it's served them well. And now we carry it to our franchise communities. My team knows that, hey, we're going to go serve our franchisees to the highest level, to the best abilities, because they are delivering the guest experience.
So when you say taking care of the team is your number one priority, what does that look like on a daily or a weekly basis?
When I come to the office every morning, it's probably one of the best parts of my day. I grab my cup of coffee and I go around to talk to everyone, listening to their stories. How was their evening last night? What did they cook? How's their morning? What do they have going on in their day? And if they have questions for me, they'll ask me. It really sets the tone of the day. And I try to do it at least once or twice during the day if I have time. But for sure in the morning, that's a given. And when I started, I asked my HR team and recruiting, I said, every time we hire a new team member, I want to meet them.
Wow.
I want to meet every single employee, at least for 15 minutes, put on my calendar. If I can meet them in person, great. If they're field, let's have a Teams call or a Zoom call. They looked at me like, are you sure you want to do this? Absolutely. I want to know their story, where they were born, their family, whatever they're comfortable with sharing.
Right.
And what led you to being in Red Roof today? What are your goals in a few years? What does success mean to them? And how does they like to be recognized? And what culture do you want to be part of? Like when you are here at Roof, what would you like to see? I enjoy listening to every single story because everyone is unique in their own way. Nothing is out of bounds when it comes to something they're sharing about their personal life. When I get to share also our culture and the vision that we're trying to accomplish, it gives me a chance to meet our talent, our future. That's very important to me. And more importantly, it gives them a chance to really get to know me from the first week and know that if they have a question, if they have a comment, my door is always open. They can email me. They know my cell phone.
You give them your cell number.
Yes,
New employees.
absolutely. I'm all in. Whatever you need, we are one team. As employees, as franchisees, we're one Red Roof.
Mm.
Also, it's great to keep the team connected. On a monthly basis, we now have an employee town hall. Myself and all the senior leadership, we have 1 hour town hall with all our employees, and we have 2 3 minutes each where we highlight what we have accomplished, what we have going on for the months. We celebrate birthdays, we celebrate anniversaries, we celebrate great success stories, but we also keep everyone in the organization connected what everyone else is doing. And that we're driving the ship towards one goal, success, victory, and gives them an opportunity to also ask questions towards the end of the town hall so they feel like if they have a question or comment, they can ask us. So create that one team environment.
So it's fascinating. We had the former CEO of Procter & Gamble on, Bob McDonald. When he took over the Veterans Affairs for the United States, Secretary of VA, he actually realized that a lot of the veterans didn't trust the organization anymore. So he, during his press conference, gave out his cell phone number and challenged the veterans who needed help to call him. Now, he got a ton of calls, as you might imagine. But at the end of the day, it changed the culture because people realized he wasn't just speaking it, he was doing it. I'm going to assume that when you do that, it's a shock to most first-time employees that the big dog is saying, and here's my number.
Yeah.
If you got a problem, you got a need, call me.
Yeah.
Taken or not speaks loudly.
I don't know. It's just the most important part of my job is really staying connected to the people that are key to the success of the organization. Seems like a natural thing to do, honestly. Few people take me up on it, but they have it. They can walk into my office any day. If my door is open, you walk in, I tell them that. And you know what? I like that. I like being connected to them. The people mantra first, it's a genuine thing. I mean, genuine relationships, real results.
Yeah.
And we are one team. I'm here for you anytime you need me.
Wow. So you lead a multicultural workforce.
Yes.
You talked about, well, as comfortable as they are in sharing. This is a topic that's come up a lot in a lot of corporate discussions these days. What's a fair way of handling employee engagement when your employees might come from different cultures and the very same question might be heard different ways? How do you handle that?
You know, I think mutual respect in any sense of life, Don, whatever religion you're from, whatever cultural background you're from, mutual respect in the organization is really key. We have a culture where we welcome everything and anything, and we try to build trust. Trust is one of our core values, one of our habits. So I want to make sure that when someone, no matter what the answer is, it's their story. It's a great story. Thank you for sharing. And then move on to what we're trying to accomplish.
I love it. Thinking about employee buy-in, engagement, alignment with your core values, trust, are there metrics, are there tools that you use to gauge whether you are effectively connecting with them? How could I gauge whether I'm actually making that connection with my employees?
I'm a strong believer in a strong culture in our organization. There's cultures that come from the top down, where leaders decide this is going to be our culture and then we're going to share it down. And there's cultures that come from the bottom up. What is important for our team members build from that a culture that really is inclusive of everyone. We just had a meeting with everybody and we said, hey, what does culture mean to you? And everybody put some words and sentences. We gathered all that up in the boardroom. We spent like 3-4 hours dissecting them, making sure we built a great cultural statement and core values from the bottom up. By the time we finished, we felt like it was our employees that built this culture and we're all a great fit in it. You know, our vision is to give the best experience to our stakeholders, whether it's our team members, franchisees, guests, sponsors and vendors and communities. And then we built our core values, which we call our habits. H for hospitality, A, adaptability, B, belonging, I, impact, T, trust, and S, success. We talk about it in our meetings. We talk about it as we're walking in the hallways and having discussions. We celebrate our successes based on habits. So we keep that culture and buy-in that came from our employees from within alive on a daily basis.
I like that.
Look, in any team, in any organization, trust is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you when I first started the meeting, there was definitely a great reservation. I mean, new president here. So there's always that sense of, am I sharing enough? Or do I want to say something in the boardroom? How is that going to be looked on?
Mm.
What I wanted to make sure that they know is, look, we take calculated risk and we make mistakes and own it. There's something that happened and I took responsibility for it and I apologized to the guys and I said that was actually something that I missed. That moment was really important because every you start seeing that, hey, if I made a mistake, I can really share it comfortably without feeling like, oh my God, it's going to be an embarrassing moment.
Because the CEO admitted a mistake.
Absolutely. Accountability is real. You want to be responsible for your performance, your actions. But guess what? We all make mistakes. Nobody should ever be afraid of saying, I made a mistake. Let's discuss it, learn from it, and how can we move forward?
Right.
Trust is a really big deal. You really have to work very hard on a daily basis to keep earning it and giving it.
Wow.
It makes an impact.
Yeah. Back to basketball.
Yes.
Was there a coach that had impact on you? Maybe some coach that you played for over time whose leadership style you either emulate or you avoid because you saw things we don't want to be?
Look, I don't avoid anyone, but my college coach had a profound impact on me for something personal. As a teenager, I was 17, smoking. I started smoking cigarettes.
While playing basketball?
Yeah, I didn't have the money or the card to go out there. So I wanted to look cool by smoking cigarettes, I guess. With my buddies, go to watch a movie or whatever, after a game, smoke a cigarette here in 2 months, 3 months. And I remember going to practice one day. Coach calls me. He's like, Zack, come here. What's going on, coach? He's like, what's going on with you? What do you mean? I'm good. No, you're out of breath. What's going on with you? You're never like that. I stayed quiet. Like, oh. He's like, are you smoking? I didn't answer. I froze. He's like, let me tell you one thing. Today, you make your decision on life. You either stay on the team or you keep smoking. When you go home, think about that decision.
Mm.
That was the last time I carried a cigarette in my life. I never smoked on. Basketball led me to be in hotels, to be here today because of that trip. And then basketball, that coach led me to a profound moment. I'm always thankful to that.
You know what I love about that one? He didn't say, you need to stop smoking. He said, you make a choice.
Yes.
By putting it in that way, it was yours. Whatever you chose to do, you weren't doing it because he told you to do it. You were doing it because you were making a choice. It's how we say, the actual choice of words that makes the greatest difference.
Obviously, I had a lot of respect for him. He was respected by a lot of people. So it was an easy decision once he told me that. But I also learned a lot from Coach Phil Jackson. As much as I loved Michael Jordan and I was in awe and everything that he was doing on the court, Coach Jackson off the court or on the court, building the triangle offense and the strategy and how he handled the big personalities. And then he moved on to the Lakers,
right,
which became my next favorite team after Michael Jordan retired because I became a huge Kobe fan. May he rest in peace. He's got Kobe Bryant. He's got Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Big egos. He made them see that winning, you have to put your egos aside.
Mm.
You have to collaborate, work together. He took two of the biggest egos in the world and really made them work together and collaborate. And they won champions.
3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Right.
So I've always been a great admirer for him.
Because he was so well regarded, when they would get on team planes, he would walk down the aisle and he would have hand selected books for each player to read on this trip. Think about a coach handing out books and saying, hey,
yes,
I've thought about this one. This one would be really good for you. They allowed the players to realize the importance of there's something bigger than just playing basketball here. We're actually trying to grow ourselves, growing our minds.
Yeah.
I thought was pretty impactful. You had 10 years of playing basketball. Is there a memory from a game? Is there a memory from an experience on the court, a moment that you still think about today?
In middle school, we had a playoff game. I wasn't that good. at the time. I had a lot of energy, but I wasn't that good. We had the superstar player on the team. I was a good supporting player, played a shooting guard. We had a great game. I think I scored one basket in that game. And then the game ended, we lost. So as we're going, we're shaking hands with the other team players. And I'm about to shake the other team's coach's hand. And he looks at me and was like, son, I need to talk to you. I said, what is it, coach? You were running like a horse on the field. You have energy more than my entire team combined. You need to slow down. Let the game come to you, because if you do, you're going to be something different. I see it in you.
Wow.
That was coming from the coach of the opposing team.
Right.
At the moment, you're like, okay, whatever. When you think about it, wow, that was a great moment that someone took interest in telling me this. Then I started really thinking more about that and actually started slowing down and not keep zigzagging, going back and forth, and definitely improved the game. I mean, slowly, but I will never forget that moment.
Isn't that fun? Sometimes we talk about, well, you shouldn't talk to other teams' players. Sometimes there's moments of encouragement you can offer there that maybe you'd hear it differently from the other coach than you would from your own.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, some people tell you some things sometimes. It really resonates. As you grow older, it becomes harder.
Yeah. One of the words that's often misused in the American corporate language is the word team. We talk about our team, but most often what we really have are a bunch of employees who are working together, but not necessarily as a team. You've been part of teams, you built teams. If you're coaching me as a young leader on how to take a group of individuals and get them to work together toward a common goal, give me a couple of instructions as a team leader.
The first most important thing in anything is the why.
Mm.
Why is working as a team more important in this case than working not within a team? When you have a vision, you articulate your vision and you have the buy-in on the vision. When you articulate the mission and the core values, you have the buy-in of your team. Now you have the sense of one goal, victory. Yes, you go out there to have fun sometimes, but everybody wakes up in the morning wanting to achieve success. They want to be victorious. For us to be a successful team, we have to keep our eye on collaboration, teamwork, synergies, trust, so that we can achieve that victory.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Michael Jordan. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships.
Right.
To really be a high functioning team, be something to be proud of. Everyone wants to be proud of the contributions that they have given to their organization or to their team or to their colleagues. We want to give them that opportunity. Look, as a leader, spend time with each member of your team. You want to get to know what's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what they're passionate about. You want to know what their goals are. You want to know their weaknesses. You want to know their strengths. Investing in listening, document, you absorb what they're saying really helps to pay off. I mean, imagine you're in a basketball gym. You got this great team and Magic Johnson walks into your gym for the first time. You didn't know him. And you're looking at this guy, he's 6'9", 225 pounds. And you're like, man, this is going to be a great power forward. He's tall, he's strong. I'm going to have him do this, defend here. You sit down with him 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
And he wants to be 30 feet from the basket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His passion is to dribble. He has 6 eyes in his head. His passion is to give assists and to facilitate. And he's great at it.
Yeah.
By spending that time and really being open on what everyone's strength is, it changes your whole perception about people.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you start really putting the pieces together, because everyone has a different talent, everyone has a different skill, and they usually tell you, you feel it and you see it as you're learning more about them and spending more time with them.
You've used the word success often. Habits ends with success. In sports, we can see success. There's a scoreboard. How do you see success in your industry? What does success look like for you? And how do they, your team, know that you're actually on a pathway to success?
The way you make people feel will help you gauge whether you're being successful in what you're doing or not. Within the organization, as you're speaking to people, as you're in meetings, as you're on town halls, if people are energized, if people are engaged, you walk around, they have smiles on their face, they want to help, they want to be a good team member, you feel that you're being successful internally in the organization. Obviously, we measure it. Everything can be measured, as you said, Don. We measure it through employee surveys, and that gives you a tangible result.
Right.
The main result is that human interaction and seeing the people's smiles and engagement.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you a better sense overall. The same thing with our franchisees. When we go out there and visit them and have calls with them on town halls or brand conference, you feel the energy.
Mhm.
You feel their feedback. They're not going to shy away from telling you how you're doing. They'll tell you.
Right. They're business people too.
Correct. You feel that sense.
Yeah. You know, I read a quote from you that I just love. Necessity is the mother of invention, but curiosity is the mother of innovation.
Honestly, I don't know if anybody has ever said that. It's just
I don't know either. When I read it, I was like, gosh.
curiosity has always been amazing. I mean, I was curious, loving Michael Jordan, loving basketball, and being in Lebanon. I was curious about coming to the US and how is that life going to be? And it led me to a great, rewarding life so far. When I became vice president of franchise operations was La Quinta by Wyndham Hotels
Mhm.
around 2016. I was overseeing the West Coast, and we had a goal of we want to improve our revenue, we want to improve our market share.
Mhm.
But how do we do that? As I'm learning my directors more, they have great skills and talents in different ways. This person looks at this way, that this way, communicate in a certain way. The other one does it in a different way. I was curious if I get everybody in the same room and we all lock ourselves for 2 days,
Mhm.
literally lock ourselves for 2 days, called a revenue boot camp. What can we accomplish collectively as a team? It was an interesting concept. We spent the first 3, 4 hours, everyone going on all the reports, analytics they do, how they communicate, took the best thing from everybody, and we created a process. For the next 2 days, every director dug into their hotel portfolio and made sure they look at the pricing strategy for 90 days, the discounts, communicate to the owners, make sure we pull the right triggers. And then everybody finished all their hotel portfolio.
Hmm.
And we left. Let's see what happens. 2 weeks later, our numbers popped.
Wow.
Literally, our numbers popped because I was curious about if everybody learns from everybody, what can we accomplish in the same room? Like a month later, our numbers continue being green and growing up. So we told the East side, hey guys, this is what we did on the West. Why don't we try another one? Us in the East. They saw the same results. So for 3 years, we did this on a quarterly basis, revenue bootcamp.
Huh.
For 3 years, we gained market share every single month.
Wow.
We have a corporate coach. She was here before I came, Maureen Metcalf, great lady. She's actually the author of a book called Innovative Leadership and Followership in the Age of AI. She speaks about innovative leadership, taking risk, being curious, see what's behind the door. You may see something that you can learn from, or it'll help you strategize a little bit. So be curious, take calculated risk. Don't always hide behind the door and wait. Curiosity is a really great thing.
Oh, I think curiosity is a superpower when it is. You know, I've spent 30 years in my career, journalism, writing books, magazines, asking the best coaches, athletes, leaders from all kinds of industries. If you could identify one habit, one thing that you build into your daily routine that you believe gives you a competitive advantage, is there a habit for Zack that has made a difference in the trajectory of your career?
Call me at 5:01 a.m. Don, I'll be up.
Hmm.
I'm a 5 a.m. kind of guy. I've always been a 5 a.m. kind of guy. And not because I have to, and not because I think I want to. It's just because it's who I am. I'm programmed that way. Even on the weekends, when I go out with my friends and I go to bed at midnight or 1 a.m., I wake up at 5. I'm big on fitness. I like to go to the gym. I just moved to Columbus, Ohio from Austin, Texas. You know Austin?
It's a far different weather pattern in Columbus, Ohio. That's for sure.
It sure is. I live downtown, right by the river.
Yeah.
We have such an amazing trail there.
Yeah.
So every morning I get up, grab my coffee, and I go on a walk and sometimes a jog, depending. And it's like an hour and a half of my day. And I sit, I have my meditation bench, meditate for 10 minutes. Just something I've always done in my life. Wake up early, go either to the gym or go on a walk or go to jog.
It clears your mind and prepares you for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. Nothing will replace that. Even when I'm 80 or 90, I'm probably going to be doing the same thing.
That's a great habit. I love it. Zack, I appreciate the conversation, appreciate the time, appreciate the lessons, and appreciate the opportunity to learn your journey. Thank you today for being a corporate competitor with us.
Don, I want to say congratulations to you on such an esteemed career. Thank you. It's been an honor meeting you for the first time and allow me to do this with you today. So I appreciate it as well.
That was so much fun. I really enjoy having conversation with people who love the game of basketball as much as I do. Zack was fantastic. I was totally taken by his Bill Marriott story, the opportunity as a young leader of a small team at a newly opening Marriott to meet the CEO, the legend in the business. And when given the opportunity to shake his hand, introduce himself, Bill Marriott gave him that great piece of advice. You have one job, take care of your team. You do that, they'll take care of everything else. Now he's fixated on that concept, and that has been his model for all of the years of his own personal leadership. He wants to know new hires. He takes 15 minutes with every one of them. He asks them to tell him their story. And at the end, he gives them his cell number. He says, the reason I'm doing this is because we're one team. If you've got an issue, I need to know about it. The second big takeaway for me was when he talked about developing a culture statement, he's a reasonably new leader. He's been in the role for a little more than a year. He didn't want to come in and declare, here's our culture, top down. He gathered the team. He asked them, what are the words? What are the things that we want to be known for internally? And in doing that, he used their words to build a culture statement so that they could all get behind it. How powerful that was. And then finally, the importance he took in admitting a mistake early in his leadership tenure. He wanted his team to know making mistakes happens to everyone. And he was encouraging people to acknowledge them rather than trying to hide them, trying to sneak them past others. So many good nuggets. I love any opportunity to study leadership with somebody who's been in the study of it himself. Today, we were blessed with Zack and his knowledge. I hope you appreciated the conversation as much as I did, and I appreciate you. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple and Spotify. Feedback helps us spread the insights of our guests to a wider audience. It actually increases our ratings. Thank you so much for those who have done so in the past. And catch new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe at corporatecompetitorpodcast.com to be the first to get a chance to listen. And as a thank you gift, I will send you a chapter from one of my best-selling books. Stay connected with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My handle is @DonYaeger, DonYaeger. And until next week, I appreciate you.